Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to join you virtually today to share with you a vision for increased transatlantic cooperation in an era where the security challenges we face are constantly changing and evolving. Today, as an alliance, we are faced with a number of multifaceted security threats. We are challenged by global crises, from pandemics to climate change, that affect the way that we define security challenges and the ways that our militaries respond to them. We see climate change as a threat multiplier that impacts all aspects of society, including civilian infrastructure and services, as well as the effective operation of our militaries. Which is why NATO has committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions from military activities and installations. At the same time, allies have recognized that the resilience of our alliance is important now more than ever, which is why one of the cornerstones of our ambitious NATO 2030 agenda, as allies agreed at the Brussels summit earlier this year, is resilience. And as we bolster our own efforts, we also see that our adversaries are increasingly adopting novel ways to undermine our defense and security. This includes disinformation campaigns and electoral interference, as well as cyber attacks. And such threats rarely come up in isolation. We see adversaries and potential competitors apply them in ways that compound each other. It is all the more important to define strong transatlantic responses to these hybrid and emerging security challenges because they are often pursued by authoritarians with the aim of undermining state legitimacy and the trust in our political systems. Ultimately, these methods aim to undermine our democratic processes and divide our societies. And this is because opponents know how important political cohesion is to the success of our alliance. We are actively engaged in ways to strengthen our alliance to succeed in combating these threats. And some of you may be familiar with the NATO 2030 agenda, which is crucial in defining our approach to enhance cooperation amid new security challenges. As part of this effort, allies have agreed a number of ambitious proposals. In addition to improved resilience that I spoke about earlier, the NATO 2030 initiative highlights the importance of upholding a rules-based international order, which underpins the security, freedom, and prosperity of our alliance. Allies have also agreed to more joint training and exercises, stronger cyber defenses, as well as to increase defense spending, so that the alliance continues to ensure our common defense and security through 2030 and beyond. And when we look at the way ahead, innovation is also key to how NATO prepares for the increasingly competitive international environment in which we all live and in which our forces operate. And this is why allies have also agreed to two exciting transatlantic innovation initiatives. The first one is a Defense Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic, or in short, DIANA, that will accelerate the adoption of dual-use technological solutions to critical defense and security challenges. It will do so by networking together innovation entities, including national test centers and accelerator sites, in spaces where competitively selected innovators can iterate on their solutions alongside operational end users and agile capability developers. The second initiative is the NATO Innovation Fund, a multinationally funded effort to provide venture financing to startups that are developing dual-use, emerging and disruptive technologies in areas key to Allied security. More than 17 allies signed up to establish the fund at the October NATO Defense Ministerial. And what both of these innovation initiatives seek to achieve is a greater transatlantic opportunities to stimulate dual-use development to the benefit of our security and defense. This means making use of the world-leading research and development expertise that we have across the alliance. For example, our alliance is home to close to 80% of the living Nobel laureates. 9 of the top 10 universities can be found on Allied territory, and we also have 8 of the top 10 startup accelerators. It's no coincidence that our democracies house this excellence. Democracy fosters innovation by encouraging entrepreneurial spirit and creativity, giving us the opportunity to embed our values into technological development. As an alliance of 30 nations, the links between our vibrant innovation ecosystems can help us shore up our technological edge. We have these incredible innovation ecosystems in front of us. The question is, how do we leverage them in a coherent way? Of the emerging and disruptive technologies we are looking at, AI is among the most pervasive. And this is all the more true when combined with other technologies like big data, autonomy, or biotechnologies. Already, we are exploring ways to use these kind of technologies in responsible ways that can enhance our readiness. As an example, the Nato Intelligence Fusion Center is using artificial intelligence to support its imagery analysis. By automating this analysis, they could increase their capacity to cover additional airfields. Without the technology, they would only have been able to do this with an 1100% increase in staffing. By leveraging these advancements, AI will significantly enhance our situational awareness and decision-making. And this is just one of the ways that AI can enhance our defense and security. But we want to ensure that the Alliance is leveraging emerging technologies to their full extent. One of our biggest strengths is that we are an alliance of democracies. Our shared values are what differentiate us from our competitors and potential adversaries. But effective technology adoption is only possible on the basis of trust between our governments and with our wider public. So when we look at future-proofing our technological edge to cope with new security risks, we see this trust as critical. Based on our shared values, this means establishing relevant principles of responsible development and use of AI. And to that end, earlier this year, NATO has released its very first AI strategy, centered around 4 key goals. To accelerate and mainstream AI adoption in capability development and delivery. To protect and monitor our AI technologies. To identify and safeguard against their licit and illicit use. And to encourage the development and use of AI in a responsible manner. Like so many other tasks ahead of us, achieving these goals depends on cooperation. And this means engagement with new actors from the private sector and academia, as well as with others like standard-setting bodies. And it also means further cooperation between allies to encourage coherence and interoperability. In this way, we can focus our efforts not only on being prepared for the challenges of tomorrow, but also on shaping our strategic environment together. As we safeguard and strengthen our democracy in light of growing threats, it is through more cooperation, more engagement, and more chances for discussion that we can pave the way ahead. And with this, I would like to thank you very much for having me here virtual, and I wish you all of you a stimulating discussions at the Sofia Security Forum. Thank you.